Hello, everyone. My name is Robert Hartline. I'm the founder and CEO of CallProof.com. I want to say thank you for joining our webinar. We have an hour of opportunity for you. This is how to crush your sales goals. This isn't how to pitter patter around with our sales goals. This is crushing your sales goals. I'd like to thank Josh Rice, who is head of our product development here at CallProof. I got Ashley DeBon, who helps our customers, and queen of taking care of our customers, queen of CallProof. Thank you for joining us today. In order to do this adequately, like where you get value from the time that you spend with me, write down things you learn so you can apply them later. Don't be a passive listener, be an active listener, and ask your soul if you can receive from me today some new ideas, some new motivation, some inspiration where you go about your workday in a different way. I've done my work. It's going to take your focus. Find something that could be of a distraction for you. If you got 1,000 windows open, close them all. If you got a little beep here and a beep there from social media, turn them all off. If you have something on your phone that's going to distract you, turn it off. Because I feel that what I'm about to present to you could dramatically change your life, because it has for me. I would love for you to have a new journey that could begin today with CallProof. Maybe you use another tool, because we've invited some other people that aren't necessarily CallProof clients that have joined us today. And we're going to spend about the first 30 minutes just talking about some basic 101 things that when I show some of you, you're going to go, I already knew that, but thank you for reminding me. And that's what I'm here to do today. It's all about crushing our sales goals. Let's get started. All right, first off, I'm going to tell you a little bit about my story so you understand where I come from. I'm going to talk about setting the goals and how to achieve them, how to identify your targets, because it's really important to know who you should be spending your time with, why you should have an accountability buddy, because the process of growth is not a lonely journey and should not be. There are others in your community or others on your sales team that could appreciate having someone like you that are getting engaged with the next version of you. We're going to make sure we cover some tips and tricks on using CallProof to support some of these ideas that I share with you. And I'm going to make sure we have an opportunity for you to ask some questions with the team. Love to help. Hey, if you are ready, get in the chat and say, I am ready to begin this party. Get your energy up, get your awareness alive and kicking, and I'll get right in here. So my story, my door-to-door sales journey started in 1994 at MTSU, which is in Murfreesboro, Tennessee, Middle Tennessee State University. I thought I wanted to be in the music business. Little did I know that I'm not a giant country music fan, even though I'm in Nashville and I don't play guitar. So I decided after my first semester that I needed a job that was flexible. And the beautiful thing about selling is there is some flexibility, right? So much flexibility. It can get us in trouble, right? Yes. If you can all agree, the flexibility and the freedom can both be a blessing and a curse. You got to have the discipline. That's going to be your focus. This is going to be your focus word for this seminar. This webinar is all about our focus and attention and our good discipline. I answered an ad in the Tennessean newspaper, door-to-door sales. And when I called them, they told me they paid for a week of training. And I said, I am in. I need the $300 in training because that's what they paid. But as a shy, timid person as I was a little bit nervous of selling door to door, but I started the journey anyways. I did the training and I knocked on a lot of doors before I got very lucky. This woman bought a phone from me. And next thing you know, I followed the system and she gave me so many referrals. And every time I got that referral and got a new sale, I got that dopamine hit that we get when we get a sale. Who here gets a dopamine hit when they close a sale? How does it make you feel? Does it make you feel good? When you say something, you talk to a stranger and you're dealing with some uncomfortableness, but then the customer turns out to have a need for your solution and they buy from you, doesn't it feel wonderful? I got addicted to that. I figured out that maybe that's my calling, is to learn and get good at selling. I did the door-to-door thing in neighborhoods for about 2 years. Then I worked for what we all know is Verizon for about 2 years with their B2B sales team, Nashville. Nextel came into town in 98. Fast forward 1999, I started a company called Absolute Wireless, and we were selling Nextel to businesses. And that's really where I got my opportunity as an entrepreneur. But I discovered some things that were lacking. I had an outside sales team that was visiting people every single day, and I would train a new person on how to sell my products and services, how to pitch it, and how to talk. And they would leave. And then every now and then I'd run into several salespeople that just didn't have it. And I would get their phone after they would leave, and I would notice their phone would never ring. And I would just get to thinking, I was like, gosh, how did this break down? How could I help them? And I discovered that there wasn't an app that would help my salespeople find customers to talk to that are near them. And, what door-to-door selling is doing is the oldest sales strategy in the planet, talking to strangers, business to business, is what exactly I was doing. But I needed an app to do this and help support my sales team. So I started building CallProof. After a few years of developing the program and using it in my own business, Absolute Wireless, I discovered another problem. My problem, and this is a problem that a lot of other entrepreneurs face. When you're starting a business, often you start it without a plan and you just wing it. And I'm sorry, folks, but winging it doesn't work. I was busted. I was separated from my wife. I was working all the time. I just wasn't happy. I needed a plan. I discovered this book called Traction. It's from a company called EOS, Entrepreneur Operating System. I'm actually an EOS implementer because I believe in this so much. But what I did was I got engaged with the book. I hired a coach to help my business, and I used not only Traction, but CallProof for my entire sales organization to grow my business. And again, I had 3 things that I wanted to accomplish. And part of the EOS process is to have a vision. And I will tell you, goal setting begins with the vision we have in our mind of what we want to become. Before you ever have a goal in mind, you must have a vision. When you close your eyes, what do you see yourself in the future? You. Who are you? Who you want to become? And that's going to help you decide what some goals are. I had 3 core goals that I wanted to achieve. I wanted to save my marriage, of course. I wanted to grow my business to nearly 100 million in sales. And I wanted to move my family to Costa Rica. In order to do that, I had a 10-year vision, a 3-year plan, and a 1-year goal to achieve this. And it happened for me. Everything I'm walking you through right here all started because I had a vision. I scaled from 100 million in sales. I had nearly 400 employees, went from 11 locations to 68 stores, was fastest growing business in Nashville, Tennessee, 2 years in a row. And in fact, I did move my family to Costa Rica. And in fact, if you look up House Hunters International, the TV show, and I think it's on TLC, you can see my whole story for all to see. But it all began with a vision. So first step, write this down. You must have a vision before you have a goal. because if you have the vision, you will prepare your mind to do this. Something that I always taught with my sales team was this book right here, and it's changed so many lives beyond my employees. It's called The Science of Getting Rich. It was written in 1909. When you read it, it sounds like something that was written in 1909, but it's a book that you don't read like a story. You study it chapter by chapter. And I'm going to express to you just a few things, how this book was meaningful for me. It will help you decide what you want as your vision, because thoughts become things. This is what the book will teach you. Nothing in this universe becomes anything without someone dreaming of it in their own minds. And that's how the process starts. The other thing I learned is the earth is abundant with resources, and we don't have to compete to get them. There's plenty to go around. When I say that, that means as a salesperson, as a sales team, as a leader and entrepreneur, it is important that we don't work in scarcity, thinking that I got to get mine. It's not I got to get mine. There's plenty for all, plenty enough for me to share my best practices, share and help people along on their journey. Because when you help others by teaching, we get better. What I'm doing right with you right now is me being a student and learning it as well, because I teach it. I get more out of talking to this little bitty camera right here than anything I could do in my world. Find opportunities for you to teach. That's how you grow and learn. The future is created in your mind first before it becomes a reality. And this is the foundation of this book. If you were to hear me and understand this, you become valuable when you create value for others. You got to understand what value creation is. Most of you are working in a sales environment where you are finding someone with pain and solving their pain with some kind of solution. And when your customers discover you, guess what they do? They are either in the mode to buy or not, or at some point they will find a need. And then when the pain has risen high enough, then they're ready to buy. When they're ready to buy, you have created value for that customer. That customer pays your company, and that company pays you because you are valuable. If you want to be more valuable, be more valuable. Put the work in, and the value will come to you in droves. The book will teach you this. If you're looking for something to study, might I suggest this is a book you can study. You can listen to it on YouTube. Well, Robert, I don't like to read. You can listen to an Audible. There's 1,000 ways you can consume this book. It's in a PDF format. If you were to type in Science of Getting Rich, PDF, you can study it. It's a great starting point for this journey that I'm introducing to you today. Facts about goal setting. People with written goals are 50% more likely to achieve than people without. Duh, right? Write them down. This is so me. For so many years, I would get so wrapped up in creating goals in January. And look at this, 92% of New Year's goals fail by January 15th. Can I get a yes, yes, yes in a Google chat? Because if I just want to ask this question. If you have been one of those people that have all these aspirations and goals in the beginning of January and it falls through, can you just pick a little chat and say, that is me, that is me? Thank you. Here's another thing. 3 out of every 100 adults write down their goals on paper. Only 3%. Only 3%. Who here knows about the Pareto's principle? 20% of your work gives you 80% of the results. Another way to say it is 20% of the top basketball players earn 80% of the wealth. It's the same in music. It's the same with insert anything. The Pareto's principle is alive and well. A lot of people a few years ago, when the meltdown and financial meltdown happened in 2008, there was a lot of word about the 1%, and there was this hate on the 1%. Don't hate on people who write goals down because they come true, because that's a fact. If you want something out of life, you got to think it and you got to write it down, folks. the world's most successful people agree that you get by achieving your goals. It's not a process. It's not as important as what you become in the process. Jim Rohn wrote a quote that says, if you want to become a millionaire, do it for who you become on the journey. I love that quote, because it's not about getting rich. The science of getting rich is not about rich monetarily. Rich could be a rich life. It could be having rich friends, not rich and monetarily. They just give you so much out of your life that you are rich. All right. Milestones versus goals. A lot of people get this a little bit confused. Goals refer to the results an organization intends to achieve in a given time period. Milestones are measurable accomplishments that need to be made so as to the progress towards a goal. I like to think of a grand goal, breaking it by yearly, monthly, weekly, and daily. I would also introduce to you the power of hourly goals. I am going to make 10 calls in the next hour because I'm going to have 3 booked appointments for the day, but I got to have 1 booked appointment this hour. I'm going to really be focused on this goal. There's a lot of different ways that you can push yourself to achieve great things. Now, discipline is key. So last year, I sold Absolute Wireless, my company with all these stores, in December 2020. It was a very difficult year. And as I learned something in 2021 going into it, after I sold my business, my identity was so wrapped up in this business. Okay. It was so wrapped up in the leadership that I had with my team. I enjoyed leading these team members. I enjoyed running this business. And I wasn't honestly happy. I felt the same as I did when I got a divorce back in 2001. And I saw these posts about 75 hard. And if you Google 75 hard, you'll discover that there's these lists of things you do every single day for 75 days. It's 2 workouts a day. One's outside. Okay. At least 45 minutes. Follow a diet. Don't drink. Take a progress picture. Drink a gallon of water and do 10 pages of reading. And I was like, who in their right mind would be so silly? Who would do this? And I decided to buy the book. And in the first chapter, and it says the key to happiness. And at that moment in my life, I needed some happiness. And it said in a quote, it said basically this: you find happiness by doing hard things. Working out twice a day, following a diet, drinking a gallon of water, which is tough, reading 10 pages. There's all this work, but I can't explain it to you, but it's absolutely true. We get happiness through doing hard things. Having the discipline to do this matters. Now, you may look at this list and ask yourself, what could you be disciplined with every single day? And if you missed one of those things, you had to start over. It's extreme. But if you want to live the most amazing life, maybe you need to be a little bit extreme to get to where you need to go, because it does take some sacrifice. It does take some actual work. Nothing is going to just happen. You got to get engaged, folks. Now that you have a goal, now what? Obviously, goals are not achieved without action. So what action do you need to achieve your goal? So it's important to understand everyone has a different sales cycle. Some organizations, if they have a cold opportunity, they get an appointment with, maybe their average sales cycle is 60 days. Put that into your calculation, because you need to understand what activities do you need to take that are going to give you the opportunities that will close in a specific period of time. You really need to work through that. Understand the law of harvesting. You must first plant the seed. How many people are just hoping to get a sale, but they haven't done the work? They have not done the planting process. Your habits are going to allow you to get to these goals. Daily activity habits set the tempo to happiness and realization of your dreams. What does your ideal Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday, whatnot, look like? If you walk away with anything from my babble today, walk away with this: an hour of your day planning what you're going to do with your focus is going to give you so much. If you want to get 80% of your results from 20% of the work, listen to my words. You got to plan. You guys have a terrific tool to plan your visits by either doing routes in CallProof, by identifying who you need to speak to, but your plan is derived by what you sit down and be focused about what you're going to work. I would turn off all distractions in 1 hour, plan on who you're going to talk to, plan on who you're going to visit, plan ahead. Be thinking, and the way I used to sell was very simple. Today is Tuesday. I only work for tomorrow. I'm only working things for tomorrow. If I can't get someone, maybe they want to push off to Thursday or next week, I would allow that. But my work was always a day ahead. So I was yesterday, Monday, I only worked on Tuesday. And that's the strategy. It always allowed me to be top in my sales teams at the organizations I worked with, because I would do the work, but the planning is part of it. The habits of experts are also important. Okay. If you're watching me right now and you're on a sales team, let's say you're out of 10, you're 5 or below. Okay. Well, I would argue to say that the number 4 and 3rd and 2nd and first place person on the sales team are doing it differently than you. They are having better results than you. Don't get mad. Okay. Copy what they do because it works. Success leaves clues. Don't ever forget that. Find a way and an opportunity where you can get and ride along with this person, and make sure you listen and absorb. Don't argue if what they are doing is working. Find a way for you to copy their work. Yes, it's okay to copy what they do. Okay, we have this ingrained us in high school, right? Don't copy someone else's paper. Don't copy someone else's work. Forget about it in real life and professional circles. Copy what successful people do because it's working. So work with experts on your team. Make sure the value they give to you, you treat them right. I'm talking about steak dinner, folks. I'm talking about treat them nice, because imagine this, an hour with someone telling you their secrets. What could that be worth to your paycheck? I promise your spouse would be super excited that you changed your income flow because you did things differently. Leverage the experts in your circle. Find someone who can teach and coach you. Your windshield time is expensive. I see this in sales organizations over and over. And honestly, it drives me crazy. I saw this with my own team. That's part of the reason I built CallProof 10 years ago, is salespeople booking appointments in the north of town. And then 2 hours later, they have one on the south of town. And a couple hours later, they have one back in the north of town. And you got these sales reps going zigzagging around. And what are you doing in the car? You're listening to some tunes while you're driving. Maybe you enjoy driving. It ain't putting money in your pocket. Plan. Use CallProof to decide who you're going to visit and create routes. If you can create routes, the people that do it the best are seeing 30% more people. This is an argument I hear all the time. We're going to show you how to do routes. We're going to show you some tips and tricks in CallProof in a moment. But this is a common thing I hear people say all the time that probably just drives me a little bit crazy. We do a training with them, and I'll see a seasoned sales rep, and he'll say to me, yeah, Robert, I don't need the routing. I know where all my customers are. Are you kidding me? Yes, you may know where they are, but what you don't realize is you're passing opportunities you just don't see. You leverage the technology, and the technology will serve you in different ways to help you maximize your time, maximize the money that you spend in gas. We all see what the gas prices are doing. Don't waste the gas. Don't waste your time. Use the tech to allow you to get an extra edge so you can crush it. This is about crushing our goals. This isn't tiptoeing around our goals. This is crushing our goals. A couple other smart habits I'd like to talk to you about. Be thinking about where you book, finding other opportunities around that customer that you can add to your route. So when you're thinking about tomorrow, I'm going to be on the north side of town. Who other and what other prospects in that neighborhood could I reach out to and let them know I'm coming by? Another habit, every time you talk to either a prospect or an existing client, when you're closing a sale, must always ask for referrals. Why would you ask for a referral? Someone's not buying from you. They just don't have the pain. Okay. If you're out selling a solution and someone doesn't have the pain, what does it hurt you to say, listen, I understand you got your problem solved, but who in your business circle could I talk to that I could solve this pain that you have already got a solution for? Who do you know? You know, if they don't give you a referral, guess what? No harm, no foul. But how many people could you see or add to your opportunity list if you must always ask for referrals? Ask yourself this. How do you make yourself must always ask for referrals? Another thing, when you go to that appointment, use CallProof. If you click the account screen, it's going to show you closest prospects. It's going to show you closest client you have in the database. If you decided to see 3 more people every day and just around your existing visits that you were doing already in your world, and if you were able to do 3 extra visits a day, that equates to 780 new opportunities, plus the 200 new warm leads that you got because you're asking referrals. You're talking about 1,000 new opportunities a year by getting your habits right. You have to have the discipline to get through this process. These are just fundamental to you winning, is having the discipline to win. Always make sure that you know who you haven't spoken to. So one of the things we're going to talk about in a minute is it's easy in CallProof to identify people that you have not spoken into a while, and creating a list and a task list to focus on those people and call them. One of the things that I tell people all the time that they kind of forget about, and this is not in my presentation, so hang with me for a moment, get ready to write some things down here. Anytime you have a customer, a client that you have a relationship, they buy from you on a regular basis, please, I'm begging you, make sure you connected with them on LinkedIn. Every single prospect, client, always connect with them on LinkedIn. And as a habit, at least once a week, take a moment and look at the news feed. Okay. Look at the news feed on LinkedIn, because your best customer that was buying or planned to buy from you in a month from now could get fired, could get a new job opportunity, and poof, they're gone. If you pay attention to your LinkedIn newsfeed, your best client that moves on to another company, you can go and see that and get engaged with the new person, buying person at that company, so you don't lose that opportunity. I could not tell you how many business customers I lost in my old business, Absolute Wireless. When a key contact left, a new person came in with another relationship. You got to pay attention to this. Must always connect with them on LinkedIn. Don't waste your time reading all the things, the articles and because it's a time suck. Okay. There's 1,000 things to learn. You're better at doing than learning. Remember that. Don't get too much caught up in, a lot of people just learn, a little do. Learn, a little. No, more do than learn. Use the task reminder in the call proof to make sure you do your proper follow-ups as well. Now, next thing I want to talk about is an accountability buddy. So let's just walk through this for a moment. You got a vision in your head. All right. You wrote some goals down. Okay. You put a game plan down with your milestones on what you're going to achieve. You've broken it hour or day by day. You know, something I didn't mention, we must treat our time like Dave Ramsey teaches how to deal with your money. What does he say? Spend your money on paper before the month begins. Great advice. What about your time? Should you write your time on paper before the month begins? It's the same concept. Think about that. It's all important. So if you look here, organize an accountability buddy. What is an accountability buddy? It's somebody that you meet with on a regular basis that also is driven, that also is inspirational, also is positive. Okay. Must have all these things to be a great accountability buddy. It's somebody that's going to help you on your journey of winning. And this accountability buddy could be a fellow salesperson on your sales team. It could be a fellow salesperson that sells the same thing in another market. Or what I suggest, find someone who has the same type of customer that you can have that relationship with, because they have network, you have network. How could both of your networks work together with the right accountability partner? Like an example could be if you had someone that was selling payroll services, and then that person found someone that was selling, let's say, health plans or health benefits packages, right? They're selling to the same people. They could probably leverage the same network. What could you do with someone that was talking to the same audience and then motivated? So imagine for a moment, once a week, you got on a Zoom call or a Google Meet, whatever your fancy is. You got a live video and you said, this is what I did last week. This is what I'm going to do this week. This is my game plan. You talked a minute. Maybe you just put the thing on mute and spent the next rest of the hour just doing cold calls together, keeping each other motivated. The accountability buddy holds you accountable. Accountability has a purpose. If I hold you accountable and you make more money, are you going to be mad at me? I think not. Okay. We are humans. We make mistakes. We get off track. We lose our focus. Accountability buddy is there like, hey, Robert, focus. You said you wanted to do these things in your vision and you've fallen off track. Get back on the train of success. Get engaged, and it's there for you. Find an accountability buddy in your circle. All right. So one last thing. I'm almost out of breath. We're going to start doing some teaching about some call proof stuff in a moment, but goals give us the momentum to push through adversity that we experience while chasing our dreams. Guys, I want you guys to dream big. I want to see big visions out of you. I know and support you guys when you guys get engaged. And I just want to say thank you for the time so far today. Now we're going to go over some tips and tricks here. I get Miss Ashley DeBon here. Are you ready, Miss Ashley?
I am here.
All righty. Go for it.
Awesome. So thank you guys so far. Of course, Robert's probably parched by now with all that excitement going on. So we're going to let him get some water. So tips and tricks. As a CallProof user myself, these are coming out of my brain and coming back to you guys. So like you said, find someone who works like you do. I work just like you do every day. The main things that I find in CallProof that when I run into it, I always go, hey, let's fix this real quick, is marking your tasks as complete. When you go in and you do your event forms, you go ahead and mark your task for the future. A lot of people don't go back in and say, hey, I'm done. And then when you get a task report, it looks very overwhelming. So let's go ahead and make sure those are marked complete. And that's actually going to give you that boost of adrenaline as well, knowing that you've completed something on your list to do. Never hesitate to make notes on the spot. A lot of our new representatives are weary about taking their phones out in the middle of their meetings. Don't hesitate. You are human. You're going to forget things. Make sure CallProof works for you. A lot of people, especially new, will sit there and say, well, I do it because I'm told to. It is the worst opportunity for CallProof. We're not here to make you do work. We're here to help you make money. So make sure you're capturing all your information in here. That way you have it for your future, and CallProof will end up making you money that way.
If I add to that, Ashley, thank you so much. And I know you're going to be showing us some screens in a minute. And if you guys have some specific things you would like to learn about on this webinar, please put that in the chat. We're happy to share our screens and show you step by step on how to do a certain thing. But one of the things that she just said here is a common thing that people do. Like, I use CallProof because my sales manager tells me to. Oh my gosh, no, use CallProof because you get to. You know, I learned long ago, if I had a language of I get to work out, it changed my whole attitude of working out. It wasn't like, oh, I have to work out this morning. No, I get to. It's an honor to. Because if you engage with CallProof, because those are all your relationships, and it's a way for you to guide yourself in what you should be doing in the day. If you spend time and energy in the app, communicating with your customers, finding prospects to talk to, it's going to help grow your business. So take the language out of your head that you have to, you get to. Sorry, Ashley, go for it.
So yes, make sure you change that language. It really helped me when I first started out. Choosing your home screen widgets. When we go back and we start showing you guys CallProof, we're going to show you where some widgets are located under your settings to help you activate those, and they'll start to produce some information on your notification bar. Activate your follow-up daily pop-ups. That goes back to marking your task complete. If these are popping up on your phone, you're going to be able to not only remember that they're coming, but then you're going to remember to get them done. And then saving your routes and using them in the future. When you end up taking a route, a lot of people don't save them. Then you're spending more and more time creating that same route over and over again. Make sure to hit save routes. If it be a Monday route, or maybe it be a downtown route, whatever you know you're going to end up doing again, hit save on it. That way you can go ahead and in 2 seconds have that route back open.
Awesome. Ashley, can you walk us through what it looks like to start a route using our places feature? Now, a lot of people don't, while she's getting this ready, a lot of people don't realize that there are 2 types of contacts that are in your phone. You have contacts that maybe your boss assigned you some people to sell to. And those are called your accounts. You notice on the bottom of the screen, it says accounts. Those are the people that are preloaded in the database. Once you walk them through how to do a route with accounts in your database, Ashley.
All right. So on our CallProof app, accounts within our database, and I'm sorry, Robert, you're talking about the existing or the
existing
database?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, existing.
Existing is going to be under your accounts button. Simply click on accounts, and this is going to show you a list based off your GPS of every account that you currently have access to under your organization. You can switch from list view to map view just by clicking on the map on the top left side. This is going to pull all of them as a GPS location on that map. On the application, while this is loading, it is always based off your current location, but you can simply move the map around if you'd like to look at other locations. The top left, you'll notice there's a lasso. When we click on that, that activates a lasso tool, which will allow you to go ahead and loop a particular area and turn that into a list and it automatically asks you, do you want to add to route? And it's as simple as that to access a new route. At the next page, it's going to ask us if we would like to organize. So we'll hit the routes button here at the bottom. And they're not in any particular order as of right now. You can drag and drop these if there's a particular order you need to visit these in. Typically, we just want to optimize for your best experience and the least amount of windshield time. So you'll hit optimize. Using your current location, it will go from 26 minutes for this particular route, and we've reduced it down to 19 minutes. Simply hit save. And now I can access that in the future under our saved routes tab on the top here.
Awesome. Hey, so I want you to show, so we have another function called places. Go ahead and clear your route for us real quick, Ashley. And I'm going to talk about the next thing while you're doing that. So we have a places button now. The places button is, we have millions and millions of businesses that are preloaded in CallProof based on a lot of things. And if you look on the top right-hand side of that screen, there's a little filter button. And if you click on that button, it's going to allow you to add a category. And so in this case, let's say, for instance, you're selling to plumbers. You're a plumbing supply house and you got toilets for days. And you want to identify plumbers that are in your area that you could be selling to. So you're going to go over here and find plumbing. And you may not be just looking for the average ordinary plumber. So if you notice on the bottom, you can say employee size. And in this example, you know what? I want 10 or more employees because I don't want to deal with the tiny plumbers because there's a ton of tiny plumbers and it's not my market. I don't want to sell to those people. You could also adjust it with revenue. But in this case, we're just looking for, if they at least have 10 employees, I want to visit them, and click the apply button. And what this is going to do is find plumbers that are in or around you that you could go visit with. Okay. Now, if I go to that map, this is where I could highlight these and add them to my route again. Notice the different colors signifying that some of these are already added, but just go ahead and circle all those to the right if you don't mind, Ashley. And I'm going to walk through this screen right here. So you'll notice this. Let's go ahead and add it to my route. And this is where you start to think and you start to plan your day. So imagine for a moment, I'm planning for tomorrow. And I want to make sure that these are people that I want to go visit with. And so what I would do if it were me, I would get on Google and I'd do a little bit of homework before I decided these were the people I was going to see. Now, this database that we do update periodically, but you could have data here that, the business closed down last summer. We're not going to get all those updates all the time. So it may make sense for you during your planning to look around. And if you click on, for instance, Comfort Systems Incorporated, click on that for me and see what we can look at. Let's maybe view account. All right. So this has all the data that we have in here. We've never contacted them. You got a phone number here. Let's scroll down and see what other information we have. Is that all? Yeah. So we don't have, sometimes these things will have a website, things like that. So and one of the things I do before I do a pop-in visit, I'll always have a name. So write this down. If you're about to walk into a business, take the 10 seconds, look them up on LinkedIn, find who your contact is that would be a buyer. Okay. If I'm talking purchasing, then I'm looking for someone in purchasing. If I want to talk to the CEO, I'm talking to the CEO. You can find those names on LinkedIn. It just takes a second to look at that on LinkedIn and then have a name when you walk in. When you walk in with a name with confidence, that gatekeeper will give you an opportunity to speak to them. Now, this call isn't how to overcome the gatekeeper. So you must figure out how you do it in your own way. I have my own strategies here, but my purpose in walking through this explanation for you is do your planning on your at home first when you're working out who you're going to visit with, because a little bit of work there will go a huge way in seeing more people. Now, if you could go ahead and go back. And if you were on a route and I'm doing my current route and I'm doing my driving, right? Once I pull up to Comfort Systems, go ahead and click on that for a moment. And go ahead and start an appointment. So we're going to start an appointment, and you guys have seen this. And some companies have their own unique event form that they fill out that works best for them. And as you know, right here, we're logged in. And the purpose of checking in before you walk in is it gives your leadership team an opportunity to see that you're in an appointment. Because if other people in the organization knew that you're in to see Comfort Systems, let's say for a moment that this one is a prospect, this is not an existing client. I may notice that Ashley is at Comfort Systems, and I go, oh my gosh, I totally forgot. There's this new feature that they were asking about, this new a new service that we now have. I may call Ashley and say, hey, I see you're at Comfort Systems, and here's something that will help in your visit. So, all right, so now we're done with the appointment. We want to log out. Now, something else this does for you, it is going to track how long you were at that particular visit, okay? Get in the habit to check in first and check out at the end. It's all about your awareness to the exercise you're about to do. You know, look at it like this. If I'm checking into the business, I am focused on this visit. And when I'm done, I'm going to capture my notes of the next thing. Whenever I talk to a prospect or a client, I am making a promise some way, somehow. Okay. It could be, I want to set up a time to talk to you at a later date. I need to get a quote back to you, whatever the reason, whatever the promise, log it so it can remind you to take that action, because often we go out collecting information and we don't act upon it. The follow-up is key. Follow-up is key. It's part of your disciplines. If you were going to do 75 hard in sales, it would look a lot like, I'm going to visit 40 people today. I'm going to call all of those as a follow-up the very next day. So I should have a list of follow-ups every single day I'm working on. There's certain disciplines as a salesperson, you cannot stop. And that is your key to success, is those habits. And in this case, Comfort Systems, I want to add people, right? If I walked in and I talked to someone, I want to log that person's name. Go ahead and just add a quick contact for me real quick. And so we've added Will, and we're going to put some notes here. Now, this list of information is completely up to your company and what you collect. If you have some feedback for your manager or the person that manages your CallProof account about those visits of things that should add value, please communicate that to them. A good example is knowing who their competitor is. If someone comes in and says, stop, I'm buying plumbing supplies from ABC Plumbing, that's a great piece of information to note in the account. So having a field there is important. Maybe even having a field that has all of your competitors in your marketplace. Well, Robert, why do you care? They are using someone else. What if you got word just for a moment, ABC Supply went bankrupt? Wouldn't a list of all of ABC Supply's customers in CallProof matter? So your sales manager could quickly log in, load up all the ABC Supply competitors, highlight those, and assign them to a sales rep and say, boys, girls, Monday, we're hitting the streets because ABC went under. And not only are we going to get all their employees because we need some staff, folks, we're also going to get all their customers. So get to work. So collecting the right information in the field is critical because knowledge is power. If you want to propel your sales into gear, collect the right data. And often, I will tell you guys, often the person who buys CallProof is often, I'll be honest with you, an IT person, maybe the CEO, maybe some other person in the organization that is not as closely adept to selling and maybe not completely understand what they need in the field. It's your input that could make a huge difference. So give feedback to leadership and say, I think we should be collecting this and that, and here's why. Maybe reference this video to them on maybe it's time for a retooling or retweaking of CallProof to make sure it's being used appropriately to grow your business. Now scroll to the bottom, and in this example, Ashley's got a bunch of things that we have in this list, and all the ideas here to spark some ideas on what you could be collecting. It's entirely too much, to be honest with you. We're collecting too much in this example, but I do that for a reason. Less is more. So one last thing, schedule a task. Now, if you have your calendar synced, we do sync with Office 365. We also sync with Google. Put your follow-ups in the system. Put your follow-ups in the system, and it will automatically remind you and add it to your tasks. But use this tool. You can check out the appointment now, Ashley, and you have successfully done a visit. So I know we're coming up time. We got 8 minutes to go. Something I want to show you guys real quick. If you could stop sharing your screen for a minute. Before I forget, I wanted to put this out into the universe for all of you today. You know someone in your universe that could possibly use CallProof. We have just launched a brand new referral program. If you get me a demo with someone who could use CallProof to grow and excel their sales career, sales teams are 5 or more. If you get me a demo, I will give you $100 Amazon gift card straight to you just for getting me an appointment of someone that I can share this story with and maybe convince into buying CallProof. And if they buy, you get the first subscription month of that referral. So maybe you think about the old place that you used to work at, and now the new place is organized. They got CallProof and they use it in their sales process because that's how they grow market share. If you do that referral, I'm going to give you $100. But if they sign up and they did 10 years, that's $500 for just filling out a form. Okay. Josh just put the link in the chat so you guys can pass that word on, which is awesome because you're helping other people grow their business. You're helping other people grow their sales through intention, through creating these goals and using a tool that's you're going to use every single day to get to where you need to be. One last thing I want to ask you guys for a little bit of help. Certainly, if you have anything that we didn't cover for you today, or you need some help with CallProof, you need some insight, or you need to just get re-engaged with us, you can go here and in your email and support@callproof.com. Also, a big favor to ask, we have a YouTube channel. I am putting videos out to help support your sales journey. It's a little bit of CallProof, a little bit of things that I've learned along the way. whether you're managing salespeople or you're a salesperson, you need some extra oomph in your day to get your day started, some tips and tricks on what you could be doing, some ideas, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's easy to find. It's CallProof CRM, and we got lots of videos. Not a lot of views yet, mind you, but you know, I got to start somewhere. And this is where I'm starting with you. We're doing these webinars every other week around the same time. And my purpose is to help support your journey of growth and selling. And I got some time here for some questions. Anybody want to raise their hand and ask any questions? I think you can hit the hands button. And I don't know if I think Josh or Ashley is probably watching the hands. Anybody want to put a hands up and ask a question? Anything I didn't cover, Ashley?
No, we've covered a lot in this particular video, and exciting to come out with some more content later on that we can invite them back into.
Awesome. Thank you. I don't have anybody raising their hand. Either they're too shy or want to ask at another time. So I'm going to ask a big favor. If you got value out of Josh, you have something?
We got a hand here.
We got a hand. Go for it.
How do we
do that? That's a great question.
Allow to talk. They
Talking
have permission.
permitted. Okay.
Yep. So all you'll have to do is unmute yourself and go ahead and ask your question, hon.
You're muted, by the way. I don't know if you know that.
One thing we could add while we're waiting is in the app, if you go in the settings area, there's an area called CallProof Academy, and we're throwing all these videos that are on the YouTube channel, so you can get them directly in the app also.
Oh, that's great. Oh, here's a great question that some of you guys may have. We have two versions of this app. One is called CallProof Classic, and the other one is called CallProof Plus. CallProof Plus is where all of our development resources are going. CallProof Classic was our old app. We're sunsetting that app, and everyone's going to be using the new app shortly. There's just a few users on our old app that can't switch without us changing some things in CallProof. But you may want to ask support if you're not sure which one, if you're using the old one, not sure if you should be using the new one, you can let us know in support and we can guide you along on what to do. Sorry, we did not get that question. Has anybody else got a hand up? It didn't look like you took us off. It took off mute. All right. So listen, I want to say thank you for the time. We got 2 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and get off the call here, but I want to say this real quick. Thank you for getting on here. Thank you for investing your hour with me. If you got value out of this, I would love for you to give me a ranking from 1 to 10, 10 being I kicked Fanny, 1 being it was a waste of my time. So on a scale of 1 to 10, give me a rating in the chat. It helps me get better at this. You know, I did this 2 weeks ago. I was okay. I'm getting better every single time because it takes the reps. It takes the practice. And that's what I'm doing today, sharing these stories, sharing our tools and resources. Please, thank you for everything that you do. Thank you for using our tool. Thank you for being engaged with the sales process, and have a fantastic rest of the week. Thanks, guys.